start our project. The first thing we are going to do is, I'm sorry. So the first thing we are going to do is we will set up the project repository on GitHub. That is the first thing. Setting up project repository on GitHub. Okay. So it is a collaborative project. Now in your academics, in your normal courses, you thought that software development you have to develop the application on your own completely. No, nobody will develop an entire system these days. Okay, it is a collaborative work. If you take PhonePe, not single person developed it. Okay, it is developed by many people. So in the January 20, DeepSeek was released. Okay, actually they used an existing GPT, and they 200 PhD students worked on it. Okay, after using the existing GPT, 200 PhD students worked on it. So they worked on one single application. Okay, so that is called collaborative project. So for that collaborative project, you have to create a GitHub repository. Okay, repository is a kind of folder. Okay, so where you all can contribute to that repository. So I'm going to share everyday sessions notes starting from tomorrow. So at least from tomorrow you'll be at least 2 sessions ahead. Okay, 2 sessions ahead. Remember your student number. Okay, right. This is a collaborative project. So we have a create GitHub account. I hope everybody has GitHub account by now. Okay, so GitHub account. If you don't have one, create an official GitHub account, because you are going to use this project. You are going to do the check-ins in this project, and these check-ins will be available everywhere, and your recruiter can look at these check-ins, and he will understand that you have really worked on a project. There are your contributions, so you will get a job very easily. So keep that in mind. Okay, let's create a GitHub repository. Okay, so log in into GitHub account. If you don't have account, create one. Okay, now I'm going to create a GitHub repository. So I'm going to create a new repository. So there are repositories. I have a lot of repositories. Actually, I have a lot of accounts. Okay, so now this is new repository I'm going to create. But you can also create using this plus sign. Go to this plus sign, click on new repository, a kind of folder, new repository. Okay, in that folder you are going to keep all your projects. Okay, so every GitHub account will have a name. My GitHub account name is Singham Ravi Babu. So github.com/Singham Ravi Babu will bring it to, you will land in my account. Okay, so everybody, when they create a username, so github.com/ you have to type your username, and that will show your GitHub account. And in that you can have many repositories. Okay, so you can see here a definition of repository. A repository contains all project files, including the revision history. Okay, so even if you have your project repository elsewhere, you can get it here. So you can import the repository. Okay, that's a different thing. We are not going to get into all the details of this Git tool. Okay, so we are going to look at essentials. Okay, now I am a initiator of this project. I am initiating the project. Okay, remember that I'm initiating the project, and you guys are going to work on the project. And what you are supposed to do, I'll give the steps. I'll discuss on every step. Every day we'll discuss one step. I'll give a step to you. Okay, each day one person will do that. It may take 30 days, 30 sessions, or 40 sessions, or 50 sessions, but it will be a permanent record in your name, and it is a track record, and you can just showcase it on your LinkedIn profile. Recruiters will find you, and they will give you jobs. Okay, so I'm going to name this repository as library. Okay, library hyphen management hyphen system. So this is a library management system. Okay, so right now see the repository name is library management system. So the website name is github.com/, my username Singham Rai Babu. If you type it, you will see all my repositories. Of course, you can't see all repositories. You can only see public repositories. There are certain repositories which are private. Okay, you can't see those. That's number one. But if you want to come directly to this repository, you have to type something like this: github.com/Singham Ravi Babu / library management system. Okay, use this repository name to directly come to this repository. It's very simple to remember the links on GitHub. Okay, that's very simple. Okay, that's the first thing you have to do. So give a name to the repository. Okay, what is a repository? A repository contains all project files. Okay, that's what it contains. That's number one. Okay, right. Number two, do you want your repository to be public or private? Now it's up to you. How do you want to make it? So anyone on the internet can see the repository. You choose who can commit. That means if it is a public repository, anybody can see the code files, but they can't make changes. We will choose, or I will choose, because this is my repository. I will choose who can make changes to it, or who can commit the changes to it, or who can work with me on this project. That's number one. Okay, right. Then, so I want it to be public. If I make it private, okay, so what happens is we choose who can see and commit to the repository. So if I make it private, when they visit my account, GitHub account, they can't see that repository. But if I share with somebody, if I add somebody as a collaborator, okay, they can see and they can make changes to it. So I select public as of now. Okay, I want you guys to access my repository. Okay, so right, but if I prefer to make it private, I can do it private. Okay, then it is saying that add a readme.file. Okay, what is this file? Okay, this is where you can write a long description of your project. Now this is not a documentation. Remember, this is not a documentation. You can add a file where you can add some description about your project. You can just describe about the project, not a documentation. Not a documentation. Okay, right. So these are the three things. Name your repository. Okay, make it public. Add a readme file, and let's click create repository. Okay, right. So a folder is created here. The folder is created here. Right. Okay, so you can see library management system is the name of the repository. What is there in the readme file? It has only one line, that is library management system. I'll tell you what to add to this library management system, a readme file later. But as of now, there is only one file, readme file. Okay, I want this file to be linked to my PC. I want this file to be linked to my PC. That's what I want to do. Or I want this repository, which is on the internet, on the github.com, which is the remote repository. I want this repository to be accessible on my PC. Okay, that is called initializing the project on my local system. On my local system. How do I do it? How do I do it? So initializing project on my local system. Okay, so first thing what I do is I'll go to DOS terminal. Okay, and from there I can do. But before that, I need to have Git software on my PC. I need to have Git software on my PC. So I have to go to git-scm.com downloads. Okay, so go here I run Windows. I choose Windows, and from here, no, I'll choose 64-bit Git for Windows setup. 64-bit for Windows setup. Don't go for thumb drive edition. Go for standalone installer. Okay, I choose this. So I copy the link. Okay, and I'll paste it in the chat box. Okay, I'll paste in the chat box. Right. So if you click on that link, it will start the download on your PC. It will start the download on your PC. Right. So keep that in mind. Now, so install it. On my PC, it is already installed. It will hardly take 1-2 minutes to install it. So install it. It is already installed. Once you install it, it is available throughout your PC. So you can run the Git commands. Git commands. Okay. So how do you run the Git commands? Type the word Git and write the commands. Okay. Now let's go to my PC. So I have already installed it. That that executable file. The link that I shared with you. Click on that link. It will download the executable file. Install it on your PC. On my PC, it is already installed. It is already installed. So now I go to terminal. I initialize the project. Okay. So on the D drive, I am on the D drive. Okay. So what I do is I have already Git is there on my PC. So I type Git. I can see it shows all the Git related information, a kind of help. Why do I have Git? So the link that I shared with you, from there I downloaded the file and installed it. Now Git is available on my PC. Now on this D drive, okay. Okay. So these comments are not working. Okay, let's leave those comments. Okay. So on the D drive, I want to have this project on the D drive. Okay. But before that, I want to create a folder. Okay, I call this folder as projects 2025. Okay, so projects 2025. So we have created a folder called projects 2025. So I want to have this library management system in that folder. I want to have this library management system in that folder. So I created a folder name projects 2025 in D drive. Okay, so mkdir stands for make directory. MK stands for make, dir stands for directory. We make directory and we change into that directory. Projects 2025. Okay, now we are in this directory. Okay, so what is there in this directory as of now? There is nothing. Okay? It is empty, 0 files. It's empty and nothing actually. It shows nothing. Only one directory is there. It is called dot. So dot means the directory itself. So that's what it says. That is one dot. Okay. Now what I want to do is I want to get that directory. Okay. What is it? The repository, the library management system into this. Okay. So let me go to D drive. We created a folder named projects 2025. Do you see anything here? You don't see anything here actually. Okay. You don't see anything. So what we want to do is we want to get that library management system repository into this folder. How do I get it? Okay. So go to library management system repository. I have a lot of repositories under my name, but I'll go to library management system. Okay. Now here, okay, go to code, click on this drop down, select this URL, HTTPS URL, you copy it. Now you execute this command. So as of now, this folder is empty. execute this command, git clone, copy that link. The link that you have copied from here, okay, the HTTPS link that you have copied, okay, so paste it here, git clone that repository. So on github.com there is a repository, that means a collection of files which you are going to create, okay, and you actually created a repository, means you created a folder named library management system. You want that folder here, okay, in this projects 2025. So it is cloning, git clone, you know, it cloned it. So you can see it cloned. It cloned it. So you have readme.file here. Okay, readme.file. Right. Okay. Now, so I want this repository. I want to work inside this repository. This is the repository which is there on the internet. Okay, it is the repository which is there on the internet. Okay, so right. But before that, before you do anything, you have to do two more things. Okay, so you have to do two more things, and you remember these two things. If you're writing it down, write it down. Some of the things that I talk in the classroom, you don't find it in the notes that I'm going to share. Remember that everything you don't find it in the notes. Okay, so you have to keep this in mind, because it is not possible to give everything in the form of notes. Okay, I don't know how many people connected. Yeah, so right. So let's use two commands, git config, okay, global, okay, and user.name is equal to, I gave my name here, so sorry, no action specified. I specify, yeah, okay, let me check if I made any mistake here. Git config global. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, I should have typed two hyphens. There is no problem there. There's no problem in the command that I gave. User.name, that's it. Git config global user.name user.name. There is no problem here. User git config global. So no action specified. This is the action, right? I'm sorry. Open image. Git config. Git config config. Should be very clear about double hyphen global user.name. Okay. See, the problem is there is no problem in the command. Okay, since you know, I work with the JavaScript, Python, and different languages, so sometimes instead of putting two double quotes, I use one double quote. That's the problem. Okay, so you have to specify this. You have to make these global configurations. So this is our username. Okay, use the double quotes, and email. So is your email ID is this. My email ID is this. You see, the point here is You have to use your name properly, the name that you want recruiters to identify, the name that is on your resume. Use that name. Use the official email ID. Use the official email ID that you'll be sharing with your recruiters. Use it. Why? Because these global configurations that you make on your PC will appear in the uh, in the GitHub. That's the reason I'm just talking about it. Okay. So right. So I'll close this. For now, I'll close this. So we made few things. Okay. So let's go to this project. I want to open this project repository. We can open with terminal. Okay. And I think there are not many. Open a new window is there. Okay. We can open it as a folder. Open a terminal. But I'll open it in terminal. I'll open this terminal. So you can see. So okay, it is open in terminal. D drive project 2025 library management system. You can open it in terminal, but if you don't want this separate window, you can also use VS Code window. VS Code window. We'll use the VS Code. And here, go to file menu, open folder. So D drive projects 2025, and here you type library management system. That's it. Open. Okay, we didn't save the previous files. Save all. Okay, so this is library management system with only one file, readme.txt library management system. Okay, with only one file. So we have opened it. Okay, right. So that's number one. So we created a file. So what are you going to do is, you or anybody, you're not going to continuously work on github.com. Okay, you'll be working on your local system. Okay, you'll create files here, you'll create folders here, you'll write the code on your local system, and you'll push it to that remote repository. You'll push it to the remote repository. That is the project, the repository that is on the github.com. Okay, so right, but there is one thing you should understand here. Okay, since we open this library management system folder here in the this folder in the VS Code. Okay, so what we do is we want to work here in this folder. We are going to create a lot of subfolders. We are going to create a lot of fold files. Sometimes we delete some files because we don't need them. Sometimes we do some testing. Sometimes we want to do some experimentation. We do a lot of things actually. Okay, we do a lot of things. So you don't want everything that you make, every change that you make here, you don't want that change to be pushed to the github.com. Okay, so you don't want that to happen. So if you don't want some files to be pushed to remote repository from your local PC is called local repository. The repository that is on your local PC is called local repository. There is a remote repository. You don't want all the files from here to be pushed to remote repository. Okay, to be pushed to remote repository. So for that, you have to create a file called .gitignore. Okay, to exclude unnecessary files from being moved to the what do you call it? They shouldn't be moved to the remote repository GitHub. So create a file called .gitignore, GITIGNORE, ignore. So this is the file you create. Okay, and now this is a Python project. Okay, so I don't want Python libraries to be uploaded there. I don't want Python packages installed here to be uploaded there. I just want the code files to be uploaded there. code files to be uploaded there. Okay. So what I do is, whenever you install Python in a folder, it will create a subfolder called PyCache. Okay. So type this double underscore py cache PyCache. Okay. Whenever you type this forward slash at the end of some name, that means this is a folder, okay, or a directory. So this folder, the library management system folder, is going to contain this folder double underscore PyCache double underscore. Sometimes it is a hidden folder. You don't want that folder to be pushed to GitHub. You don't want that folder to be pushed to GitHub. Okay. So that is just a cache, Python, cache. Okay. You don't want that to be pushed here. Okay. We are going to add a lot of files here. Okay. We want to exclude all the files and folders you specify here from pushed to the github.com. You don't want to push them. Okay. Now create this file. Okay. The next file I want to create is main.py. Okay. So we create a main.py file that is like a, if you are coming from HTML background, it is like a index.html file. Okay. So index.html file. So let's add index.html file. So Python index.html is called main.py. So we created the main.py file. Yeah. Okay. So what are we going to add to this file? Main.py is a Python file. What are we going to add to this file? We didn't add anything now. So we made one change to this git ignore. We did add one line. Let's save it. Okay. So because it is a git folder, it's a git folder. Okay. So whenever you add a new file, you see U beside it. U means untracked. Okay. U means untracked. So right. Keep that in mind. Okay. So untracked. M means modified. We are going to see that. Okay. And there are a lot of things which we are going to see. So now this file readme.md, we got it from remote repository. Okay. Now these two files, git .gitignore main.py, we are going to push to the remote repository. Okay. That is github.com library management system folder. We want these two files, main.py, gitignore, to be listed here. Okay. We want them to be listed here. So how do I do it? Okay. So I have to use the terminal. So instead of going to terminal, so you can directly go here. Here in the view, there is a terminal. There is a terminal here. So what terminal it is? It is PS. That means PowerShell terminal. I don't want to use PowerShell terminal. I want to use command prompt. Okay, there is a strong reason for that. Just a minute. Guys, did I lose my connection? Did I lose my connection? Maybe it happened for a moment. Okay, so I have these two files. I want to push.
No, sir.
Yeah. Okay, push that. So what I do is I want to see git status. Okay, that means what are the new files added to this? What are the files modified in this repository? Git status. You can see git status here. I'll just increase the font size. Okay, this is too much font size actually. This is enough. So git status. It says two files are newly added. .gitignore main.py. So you see them in red color, and they are under untracked files. Git doesn't know about these files. Okay, I'm not going to talk about complete Git. Okay, because that is not the objective of this course. Okay, so what I do is these are the two files which are added. So I'm going to add them to the Git. There is Git, a hidden folder Git. So which is there? You don't see it actually. Okay, that's all related to Git. Okay, right. So these two files are now, they are staged. That means you will see them in green color now. If you type git status, They are staged. So you can see them in green color. They are staged. You can unstage them if you want to unstage them. You can unstage them, but they are staged. Now they are in green color. So you can see AA beside them. Archived, archived. If previously it was UU, untracked, archived, archived. Okay, A means they are in staging area. Okay, they are archived. Okay, now you can commit them. That means you can make these two files as part of the project history. How do we do it? Git commit. Just remember these things. And whenever you make any commits, any changes, give a commit message. So let's call this as initial project setup. Initial project setup. Okay, right. So it is committed. That means these two files. Now you see AR, they disappeared. That means now these two files are part of the project. But where are they? They are in our local PC only. They are in our local PC only. Now I need to push them to this, repository. Okay. So we are going to write a lot of code. So I need to push them to the GitHub. So before I push them, the question is my GitHub library management system, which is remote repository, and my local system library management system repository, are they connected? Are they connected? I don't know. So let me check. Git remote -v is the command. So it clearly shows this library management system is connected with github.com Singham Ravi Babu library management system.git. So that means this library management system, which is on github.com under my account, is connected with this library management system, which is on my computer. They're connected. If they are not connected, we will do something like this: git remote add origin. Okay, and we'll copy this link. We copy this link. We connect them. So what does it mean? Git means, okay, git remote means you are making a remote connection added. What is the origin? Origin means it refers to the remote repository. Remote repository means something that is on the internet. GitHub is on the internet. So origin, give the remote repository link. That is GitHub link. So we have linked it. It says actually remote origin already exists. It says it is already there, but because if it is for some reason, if it is not there, you can connect it. Okay, right. So right now, okay. So what we are going to do is, okay. So you look at it. There is a branch called main. So only one branch is there. If you click the drop down, branch is there. You guys are going to develop your own code on different branches. Student 1 will work on a different one branch. Student 2 will work on a different branch. So we are going to work on the same branch at a time simultaneously. But of course, okay, we don't do that because we are newly introduced to this system, which only 3 years, 4 years guys will experience with 2-3 years can do it. Okay, so right now I'm going to push all that is committed. Okay, I committed, right? Now you can see there is no U beside these files, no A, no M, okay, nothing. So these files are already committed. Okay, now I can push them to origin. Okay, but origin has several branches. As of now, there are no branches, but only one branch is there, main. So push to main branch in the origin. Right, pushed. So you are going to see this git ignore main.py file here. Okay, just above readme.md. Let me refresh it. So do you see git ignore dot git ignore and readme.md main.py? You saw all these files here. So what do we understand by this? Okay, very simple. So all the development I do on my local PC is there. Okay, so what I do is first, those who know little Git, I'll add them. Yeah. So, but before that, I want to know the students who are, what should I say? Number one. Who is number one there? Who is number one in the list? Cyclen is number one, right? Cyclen, share your email. And this your Git account email, and also Kamal, share your Git account email. Okay, right. Share here, yeah, yes. I'm going to add this, you're typing something else. So remember, this is not a regular class. This is a project class. Okay, so right. First one is wrong. Okay, I'll copy the second one.
Yes, sir. First one is wrong.
So first one is wrong. I'll copy the second one. So now what I do is, okay, what is the difference? Okay, right. So I'm going to add you both guys as collaborators. Not everybody I can add now. Okay, but I can add you guys as collaborators. So setting. So I will add others collaborators, but don't do anything. Okay. So it will give a mobile notification on my PC because my PC and my phone are connected. Okay. So I'm going to add you. Yeah. First I'll you are there. You'll get an email. This thing you have to accept on your email, and then it is pending. Okay, you have to accept on your email. And where is this guy, Kamal? Kamal didn't enter his email ID. Okay.
That's send చేసే sir.
So accept it. You are not going to work immediately because we need to add everybody else. Okay. Meanwhile, I'll take some sessions. Okay. Right. So we add the collaborators. Okay. So you can, when you create a project, you go to settings. Okay. And collaborators. You can add collaborators. That means your team members. Okay. So you have to accept the GitHub invitation, and then you have to clone the repository. Okay. Which I'll talk about tomorrow. Okay. But now don't just accept it. Don't clone it. I'll tell you how to clone because everybody has to clone. Okay. Right. So now let's structure the project. We need to structure because we are writing a project. Remember, we are not doing it for time pass. We are creating a project. Okay. So we are going to structure the project. Okay. So we are going to structure the project. And now we have repository set up on GitHub, and we have cloned it on your local PCs. We need to create a structured folder layout for the library management system. Okay, because we want to keep the project organized, and also not just one person. 12 of us are working, 11 students and myself. 12 of us are working. So actually I created the project only for 10 students, but when I counted you all, you came around 11. So somebody is going to take my role also. Okay, so the first thing is, okay, so you are in the library management system. That is a main folder. Okay, that is a main folder. Library. system. Okay, library management system. Now we create the necessary folders and files. Okay, so we'll create the necessary folders, and first folder we are going to create is backend, then front end, then database. Okay, then docs for your documentation, then for testing. So these are the 5 folders we are going to create. Library management system. Okay, and I'll tell you what to create under each folder. Okay, but now these are the 5 folders we need to create. So how do I create it? So I can, click on this folder, I can create it, but that will take a lot of time. I have to click on 5 folders 5 times. So I'll use mkdir backend, front end, okay, database, docs, tests. Okay, we have these 5 folders now. You see all the 5 folders. Backend, you can extend the folders, expand the folders. Database, docs, front end, tests. We have all these folders. Okay, that's number 1. Okay, now on the backend, what are the files I need to create? Okay, you see, we need to create a file double_init double_.py. This is a special file. You have to create it. When you create a file in a folder, it will become package. Okay, so it's a backend. So we are going to create book.py, and we are going to create members in the library. We need a member.py. Okay, so a person will take a book, a member will take a book, that is called transaction. Okay, so transaction dot py. Okay, so we'll create this 4 folders. Okay, sorry, this 4 files. Okay, so double_init double_.py, that is a mandatory file in every folder, and book.py, member.py, and transaction.py. So you are actually creating very powerful, project. Okay, so I'm going to create double_init double_.py. Okay, and another file, book.py, another file, member.py. Okay, another file, transaction.py. Okay, we have these 4 files under backend, and done with the backend for now. Okay, now let's go to front end. What are the files we want to create in front end? We want to create front end. It is a HTML files, index.html, style.css, okay, and script.js. Of course, you can move them to subfolders and all that. So index.html, style.css, script.html. So index.html is a home folder. Sorry, it is the file that loads to give the home page. Then style.css, it contains CSS code, and script.js, it will contain the JavaScript code. Okay, so we are going to create these 3 under front end. Okay, right. Index.html. Okay, style.css, and script.js. We're done with front end. Now let's come to database folder. Okay, so in the database folder, we are going to create two files. One is, we are going to use a database and we need to connect to that database. db connection.py, connection.py. This is one file. Okay, we want to write the code that will help us to connect to the database. And also schema.sql. Every SQL file has a schema. SQL database has a schema. The way it is structured. Okay, we need these two files to be there. This schema I don't explain much. Okay, we'll skim through it, but this is very important. DB connection, because you need to connect to a database using the username, password, database name, okay, and database software name. You have to specify all the details here. So under database, I'm going to I'll just close all these open files. All the files we created are open now. So right. So now here I'll collapse all the folders. So I click on this. So I'll go to database. Yeah. So db connection.py, and then here we have schema.sql, schema SQL. Okay, so you see, for database files, for Python files it takes the Python symbol, for database files it takes database symbol, for HTML files it takes HTML symbol, for JavaScript files it takes JS, for CSS files it takes hash, and same thing you see for Python files it will take Python symbols. So do you see how how intelligent it is? Okay, right. We already have readme.md file. Okay, I don't need to create readme.md. Okay, I have gitignore, but I need another file, special file called requirements dot um, uh, I need the files, like I will keep the docs, and so these are folders, right? So for these folders I'll use it to indicate these are folders. I use / at the end of their names. Okay, we'll talk about docs and tests later, but here we already have readme.md file. So this is the file actually, readme.md, and then we created already gitignore the files that you don't want to upload from your local PC to the local repository to the remote repository are specified in this .gitignore file. And what are the Python applications you want to install? So specify them in this file. Okay, right. So let me just give a briefing of each folder. So right, backend. So backend. So backend contains Python files for handling books. So in the library there could be several books, members. Okay, there will be many members, listing library, and they have memberships and transactions. For front end, it contains HTML, CSS, and JavaScript files for user interface. Okay, database. Okay, it manages database connection and database schema, the structure. Okay, what about docs folder? Stores documentation file. Okay, we are going to see the documentation. What about tests? Okay, it will hold the test cases later. We are going to do it. And readme.md, project documentation. Okay, it's a description actually. .gitignore ignores unnecessary files from your local system and you don't push them there. And requirements.txt will store dependencies. We'll do it later. So these three are files. So no / at the end of their name. So we made all these changes and we want to push them to the remote repository. So you see uh, beside folders there are dots. Expand it. So these are you. That means untracked files, new files. Okay, and add all these files to staging area. Add all these files to staging area. Use git add dot. That means add all. Dot means all. Okay. So now what did we do now? Now all the folders that we have added, all the files that we have added, it is just a structure, project structure. Okay, we set up the project structure. So now git, I'm going to make all the project structure as a part of git, as a part of project. Okay, so now I'm going to give a name to this project structure setup. Okay, right. Now we have made see all the dots and everything disappeared. Okay, now I'm going to push everything to the remote repository, the GitHub. So as of now, we don't see much here. Only 3 files. Git ignore this. So as part of initial project setup, we have git ignore and main.ph. Now we are going to push all those things. Git push origin. That means GitHub is origin, and there is a main branch. Okay, there is only one branch. Okay, right. That's it. All the folders, all the files are uploaded here. Congratulations, you have set up. Oh, you may ask, what about those folders, docs folders, test folder? Why? They are not uploaded because those folders have no files. They are empty folders. So they are not uploaded, but backend has 3 files, 4 files. Okay. So _init.py, book.py, member.py, transaction.py, and database has 2 files. Okay. And front end has 3 files, index.html, these things. Okay. Now, so we are done with the initial setup now. Okay. So what you are supposed to do is you are supposed to get all these files to you, okay, to your local system. I'll tell you how to do that tomorrow. Okay, tomorrow we'll start with getting all these files on your local system. Okay, right. So I'll stop recording.